Hi, this is the Be Well with Michelle Greenwell podcast. Our heartwarming conversation is designed to lift you on your wellness journey. Grab your cup of tea and enjoy the podcast. Welcome to an episode that is going to take you in a completely different direction. It's season 6 of Be Well with Dr. Michelle Greenwell. I'm very excited to take our transformations from a place of thinking about concern with ourselves and move us really into what is our wellness and how does it affect the global community, but also how can we interact with each other energetically in an online way. Today, we are starting into the Resonance Rising Trilogy, and I'm so excited to have Anne Smets here and Anne-Marie Boudreau be able to share their expertise. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you, Michelle.
This trilogy is an exploration into vitality, spiritual growth, planetary healing through the power of sound and frequency. And this first episode is all about you are the instrument. And before we talk about healing the planet, we need to talk about our collective coherence. We have to start back at who are we? With that, we're going to take the human body not just as a structure of muscle and bones, and we're going to take it into the living, breathing frequency field. And with that, we're going to be able to look at not just flesh and form, but how are we resonating? So I want you to know a little bit more about Anne and Anne-Marie. If you didn't hear us in season 5, please go back to those episodes because there's such incredible knowledge in there. And today we're going to start to really vamp up what happens when we start collaborating. These two extraordinary women have been exploring sound awareness and the subtle field of human potential for many years. Anne is an energetic therapist, an awakening guide who works at the meeting point of neuroscience, the Taoist inner alchemy, and multidimensional healing. And I know that's a mouthful, but it means that we're no longer just worried about those aches and complaints in the body, but really diving in deeper to who we are and what our wellness is about. She is rooted in ancestral Taoist lineage and extensive study of traditional Chinese medicine. She understands health as frequency and flow, where nervous system regulation, subconscious imprints, and energetic coherence directly influence physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. And through sacred activations, light code transmissions, Taoist practices, and integrative lifestyle shifts, Anne can help individuals recalibrate their internal systems, release outdated programming, and then embody a more conscious, aligned way of living. What I should say about all of that is it's going to be with ease and flow. So you don't have to put energy into that because it's already happening for you. And then you just get to pick up from there. Her work supports both healing and awakening, restoring balance in the body while expanding awareness beyond conditioned identity. Anne-Marie Boudreau is a vocal facilitator who works with the intuitive and improvisational voice, empowering individuals to reclaim their authentic voice. Through toning, sound explorations, and vibrational practices, she helps people rediscover the body as an instrument of healing and creative expression. And her work reminds us that sound is not about performance, it's a participation in life itself. We have lots of favorite sounds that we do make. We have our singing in the shower or in the car. We have sometimes how we hum underneath things. All of these pieces she's going to bring forward into the power of what that means for you and how you can embrace that. After decades of extensive studies in the field of sound work, Anne-Marie also brings her body of knowledge to the work as a sound doula, sound work practitioner, and a Reiki practitioner. As a multidimensionalist, composer, and recording artist, she's been performing and presenting extensively. She's also co-founder of the Music Can Heal organization. This you can find on Facebook. And it's Music Can Heal organization. So I'll just say that again, because you can find Music Heals, but it's Music Can Heal organization, which is dedicated to bringing musicians to the bedside. And Anne-Marie brings her compassionate care as a sound doula to her bedside work in hospice, hospitals, residents, palliative care facilities, supporting individuals who are facing long-term and terminal illness. All right. We're going to share contact information for both of these ladies within the description and at the end today. And then you'll be able to find all the ways that you can interact with them. Together, these two powerhouses are going to represent two beautiful polarities. It'll be about listening and expressing, receiving and radiating, and stillness with sound. So our theme exploration today, where we want to take you, is every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every environment that you enter shapes your vibration. Your nervous system responds to tone, your cells respond to rhythm, your heart responds to harmony, and the body is not separate from sound. We often think of it as, I'm going to go put the music on, rather than the music within. And so we're going to change that idea for you today. The muscles and the tissue, they are all resonating with each other. And the body as a vessel is a resonance chamber. And we're looking at it as an embodied field. So today we're going to gently tune your instrument and bring you to the place where you can start to go beyond who you are into what you really want to be doing. Now, as you all know, to get started, we have to have a tea ritual. So we're going to have tea and sound coming in today, but sound coming from herbs. So I'm going to be bringing forward what tea everybody's brought to the table, or infused water, because I know that's how Anne sometimes comes into the podcast. So, Anne, do you want to share what you have in your mug?
Yes, you have my blessed water indeed. I have it infused with a Lemurian crystal and bless the water today with the frequency that every sip I take, may it guide me in that I speak, think, and act in alignment for the highest best of all. And I want to stress on the speak and the think, especially with the sound resonance, because our words, our spoken words, are so powerful. So the water is a very powerful carrier for remembering and reawakening that wisdom within.
Wow. Can you hold up that Lemurian crystal again for me? And I just want people to be able to just sit with that for a moment, and the resonance that's coming off of the crystal as you're holding it there. And as people are listening, you might not be able to see it, but it's a beautiful, clear white crystal. And maybe if you tune into the sense of it, if you can't see it, see where it might be resonating in the body by being connected to it. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I want to just bring forward for everyone, we do this piece at the beginning so that you are placed in an opportunity for healing while you listen. And there's a specific frequency that we're bringing around, but also a formula where we're going to kind of weave in and out of our conversation today. And even though I'm going to bring out a tea that comes from the Cape Breton Tea Company, infusing the water, and does that every day, and just how different the water becomes when we can enrich it. So as you're listening, and you may be going to get your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, whatever it is that you want to bring in, resonate with, and the herbs that you might want to bring in, just be thinking about what choice you make to bring to the conversation. Anne-Marie, what have you got in your mug?
My favorite comfort tea, which is chai Indian tea, and it has the addition of cardamom and cinnamon.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got deep down into the earth, nice grounding. We've got some warmth and some heat that's coming in. And this is a great place to feel safe and secure in the conversation and where we want to transform ourselves by the end of the conversation today. Thank you for that. Beautiful. Okay, I've brought you today 1713 spring tea. And what I'm going to invite you to think about is As Anne-Marie said, her favorite is in the chai. Those recipes from India, those go back thousands of years, as well as the herbs go back thousands of years. And what I put into the 1713 spring tea was influences around the fortress of Louisbourg on Cape Breton Island here, where the fortress was taken over by but the French and the English, they went back and forth several times, but we still have the people who inhabited the land before they got there and what would have been on the land and the herbs that are there. So being connected to what people would have put their feet upon, what they would have been picking, what they would have been smelling. So bringing in all of that. As you hold your cup, consider the lineage of where your cup of tea may have come from, maybe the seasons, the people, the soil, the hands that harvested it. This particular blend, I'm going to bring forward lavender and rose petals. Lavender is about calming the nervous system, softening the mind, and inviting in peace. And I know lavender goes back also thousands of years, as well as the rose. And this one is about opening the heart, expanding compassion, and reminding us of tenderness. And our focus today is on the harmonies within. So this is about bringing the self-love back to us. Before you sip, listen. Listen to the sound of the cup, the subtle movement of the liquid, your breath. You could take one conscious inhale, so bringing it close to your nose. You can imagine what the chai's got there. This one always, it's a black tea, but it's got that lavender really pops up. Feel the warmth. Imagine the vibration of lavender soothing your cells, the frequency of rose opening your heart field, the water holding memories. So we've got Numeria, crystal, that goes back thousands of years. We have plants that hold intelligence. And then we have the intelligence of your body and how it's responding. So let this be a moment of reverence for you, a micro ritual, because tuning ourselves is not dramatic. Nature already created the possibility. And in our desire to connect to nature, we all become one. It's a devotional kind of act, and it is a great way for us to come together in conversation for a podcast like this. So, ladies, thank you for letting me set the stage. Cheers. So glad to have you. Now, Anne and Anne-Marie just met each other and had a beautiful conversation to find out the ways that they have experienced the world and dove deep into the things that they're passionate about. And that's going to come through as we do this trilogy, as they start to explore and weave through the knowledge that they've been able to gather. Our theme is Resonance Rising. You are the instrument. And as we look at this trilogy, we want you to open to the idea of moving beyond all that we've known about wellness and healing. And it's not the absence of symptoms or the receiving of a diagnosis. Instead, we're looking at living in a heart-centered way where the instrument is providing all the inspiration necessary to play in a true resonance. The innocence of living without recognition of cause and effect, no longer be ignored or pushed away. We choose our divine course every step of the way. So how do we live forward? How do we get our body, mind, and spirit as one, unified in a goal and recognized in wholeness? This is what we're going to explore. I'm going to start with Anne-Marie, and I'm going to dive into what is the instrument? What is that voice that's within, and how can it come through? Can you share what the pure instrument might be?
The pure instrument, the strongest healing instrument as well that we have on the planet is our own voice. And the voice is encompassed by our whole body. So that means our whole body, internally, right out to the skin, as well as the energy around us, is all our instrument. All of that goes into creating and producing the sound that comes forth from us. If we're stuck in our body, if we're shut down in different ways, that means there'll be an aspect of the sound that's shut down as well. So our whole body is our instrument.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
And do you want to share a little bit about the idea of resonance? We've talked about that a little bit, in frequency, but for those people that might not have explored that yet, can you share some of that about sound healing?
Well, there are four main principles of sound healing, and each one of them plays its own part in sound healing. So you had mentioned two of them, but the full four are resonance, frequency, entrainment, as well as intention. All of those play a huge part in the sound healing. Just start with the first one, resonance. When we think of that, everything has a vibratory rate, which it's naturally tuned to. So this natural rate of vibration is called resonance. When we are in harmonic resonance within ourselves, it restores balance within all of our systems. So resonance, it's that resting rate, that vibratory rate that everything in our world has. Moving on, frequency. Frequency is seeing how sound travels, keeping an eye on how it travels. Sound travels, it moves in the form of a wave, and we measure the number of cycles or repetitions of these waveforms to determine the speed. And so, to give you an example, the highest waveform that the humans can hear is between 20 to 20,000 hertz, while dolphins hear from 75 to over 150,000 hertz. When we think of the human body, the organs in the human body also vibrate at very specific frequencies, and each organ has its own resonating energy that it vibrates at, and it's unique to that organ. And I know that Anne is going to share a whole lot more about that specific area. When we're in balance again, our body is like a wonderful orchestra playing a symphony. It's, the violins, the cellos, the flutes, the oboes, they're all playing beautifully inside of us. So we think of our organs when they're all naturally in good balance, they're playing like a symphony orchestra. When it comes out of alignment, it begins to vibrate differently than it does when it's naturally healthy. And this is perceived as dis-ease or disease. It can be influenced by a variety of factors, including emotional and physiological states as well. So moving into entrainment, what is entrainment? Well, when we think of two or more different sound frequencies playing, the strongest rhythm will start to draw the others to it until they're all moving together. So if we think of going into a clock store, for example, all of the clocks, the pendulums of the clocks will be swinging, and maybe at different rates. But as the day goes on, the strongest one that's beating back and forth, all of the other clocks will eventually move into that strongest rhythm. Boom, boom, boom. So that means they're in training with each other. They're moving into that same focus and that same rhythm. And the reason why we use this in sound healing is when we think of if there's a comfortable rhythm in a piece of music, your body can settle and relax into, oh, it trusts that rhythm is going to happen. So all of a sudden, our whole body starts to entrain with that rhythm. It's very calm, it's very steady, and our body will slow down and shift into entraining with it. Intention, one of the most important, and one that brings in and involves, of course, our mind. When we are actually conscious of wanting to manifest something for ourselves, to benefit our health, to our well-being, what we'd want to do is put that goal in our mind and hold that intention as we move into our work. So if you think of even a runner, the Olympics were on recently, all of those Olympians were probably placing goals of what they saw themselves doing in those races that they were doing, skiing down that hill, etc. They were setting that intention. They were psyching up that mind. They were getting ready. And that brings its own form of energy when you start doing deeper work as well. So intention, when it's combined with frequency, that constant regenerative wave that keeps happening over and over again, we realize that we can start to shift the energy around what we're doing. We can bring in that positivity of our intention. An example would be Dr. Emoto's work with water. And remember, our own bodies are made up of crystalline liquid and water as well. So when we realize that we have the capacity to shift and change what's going on in our own body by bringing intention and by bringing this positive reinforcement over and over again through frequency, we have the power to start to shift and to change our own health as well. So that gives you a brief overview, at least, of the 4 sound healing principles: resonance, the vibrational rate that any physical body has, the frequency, how often something is practiced repetitively, entrainment, when we start to move into sync with something else, that strong rhythm that is leading us and guiding us, and intention, what we bring to it from our heart, from our mind, from where we want to go with the work that we're doing. So those are, just briefly, some definitions to help us along the way in the sound healing path.
That's beautiful. I'm thinking about a couple of things that people have been talking about, and I want to bring it in here before I ask Anne her question. Because that entrainment piece, I don't think people realize positive entrainment versus things that might be draining energy. Because those people who like to stack habits, as an example, and they want to get a really good workout in, but they like to read their book at the same time, and trying to put the two together. And that resonance disappears in that effort of trying to do those two things that might not be compatible. So I just wanted to bring
multitasking. Yeah,
multitasking.
Yeah.
And is multitasking going to be supportive to bringing up the frequency of the body, or is it going to take it away? So I'm just going to bring that idea forward for people to think about as they're listening, because I've had people talk about the different way they're stacking things so they could get more done. And the other part I wanted to share for those people that do physical activity, when I'm in my Tai Chi group and I have music that can entrain everyone, so it's not just got a backbeat on it that we can all move to, it actually is going to bring us collectively together. Our minds all empty, and we just move into that movement pattern, but we're all connected together, and it's such a beautiful place to find. So I'm bringing those two ideas in case you're one of those people that's been trying to stack those habits, but not thinking about resonance, frequency, entrainment, and intention, and the power that could be there for you if you were willing to open up the space for it. So I'm just going to bring that through. And Anne, I would like you to be able to now have an opportunity to talk about what that means for our field. And I know you want to dive into a little of the macrocosm and the microcosm and bringing balance to that.
Yes, it's thank you also, Anne-Marie. Love the explanation, because everything is it flows together. And exactly like you both say, we are the instrument, you are the instrument, the body is. And basically, we all have a microcosm. The universe is within us. If we would zoom out to ourselves and smaller, we would find a whole universe within. And that's why I feel also to stress the power of word, of what we say, and even what we think, because that's all frequency. And you are your own healer. So for me, healing comes from soul, and I always knew that and believed that. And funny enough, I just started reading a book about Hildegard von Bingen. I don't know if you heard of her. She was a nun in the 11th century who was here in Germany, central Germany, where I'm currently traveling around. And I always feel drawn to her monastery. And her book, the first thing I read is like, your soul is your healer. So and you can have as many operations or medication done as you want. If you don't have the, like you said, the consciousness of soul that brings in, you will not achieve the healing, or it will not shift. So that's exactly how I look at it as well. And the studies of the Taoism that I deeply studied, where our cells and our organs and our body becomes our best friend. And that's how I like to look at it. And so your cells love that you talk to them. And that is something I notice, because one of my specialties is also working with the belly and the gut. So the really our core center. And most people don't even like their belly, or they hide it, or they shy away from it. But once we start to connect and we start to talk to ourselves, like Anne-Marie said, you got that intention, you get that resonance, that flow, then healing and coherence starts to happen. And each of our organs, they have their own spirit. So it's a full universe deep within. So we don't even have to take a rocket to the moon. We can just travel inward, and we find the universe just by connecting. That's a little bit how I see it. And so, like you said, Michelle and Anne-Marie, there are many ways how we can consciously take care of ourselves. So even if we're healthy, let's keep it that way. Our main goal is to stay healthy to our last breath. A Chinese doctor is happy when he doesn't have any patients, and that's the whole aim. So yeah, and thank you, Michelle, getting these podcasts together, because there's so much power in this that people can start doing, so you don't have to go see a doctor, and just live happily and joyfully, because that's everybody's birthright.
And it's interesting too, and I'm just thinking about for those people that might be hearing for the first time, that it is a compliment to the doctor to have no patients, where in the Western medical model right now, the waiting lists are astronomical. They're just like out of control, and there's a shortage of everything. And people panic about that shortage instead of thinking about, what if you weren't part of the burden onto that, and you were able to take yourself from that list. And I know it used to be you go to the doctor once a year to have all these things checked and etc. But what if it wasn't that? And I'm sorry, add what you wanted to add there, Anne.
No, exactly that. And again, that's an example of how we all still depend on the outside, what's outside of us. But now it's time to go inward and just reconnect, get to know yourselves. You can change. Only 10% is genetic, and the rest, the other 90%, it's up to how our soul perceives and focuses and comes in harmony. So it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So we have one piece, which is thinking about how can you change that mindset and become one of the abundance, where you don't require so much, and you can release what's required by the system that's currently set up. And the other piece, when you were talking about how people don't really love their belly, think of the burdens of it, the angst of how their digestive tract might be functioning, or functioning in a way that they're not really appreciative of. But then I was thinking about how we put a belt around us and we cinch that belt and we close things up. And then we put the pants on that are too tight. And then we constrict everything. And what does that mean as a message if our body is our friend and the organs, we want to be in a relationship with each of those organs? What message are we sending to them, and how can we change that message, even by what we decide to wear and what we're going to put next to the body? Yeah. So thank you for that image, because all of a sudden I thought, I don't wear a belt anymore. It looks beautiful and fashionable if you're going out somewhere fancy, but likely you're going to sit down for a meal and then the belt's going to be too tight. And what is that message that you've just sent to the organs as well, who are now ready to digest that food for you? So, yeah, thank you. Okay, lots to think about and different ways of reframing. So, Anne-Marie, I'm going to bring this around to you about how our voice can release the past. So we may have these old patterns sitting back there, like how we dress and what we do. How could we provide space for our story to be shifted? That's a small question.
That's a small question. I can think of a variety of ways. But, a lot of them involve working with someone as well as for support. But I'm thinking that if there is a way to do it on your own, then it is about bringing that story out into voice. There are so many little ways that we shut ourselves down from just even making natural noises through our day, such as yawning. You're, Do you allow yourself to make those sounds? When you burp or you hiccup, are you apologizing and shutting yourself down? I mean, there are a myriad of circumstances throughout the day where we automatically go into shutting ourselves down rather than make a noise. And again, it could be any kind of messaging that may have come up through our lives. There could have been messaging, kids are to be seen but not heard. But, sing in the choir, but just mouth the words because we don't want to actually hear you, or stand at the back of the choir so we can't hear you. These kinds of negative messages often have happened for people. And so trying to bring some of that into your daily life, you may start to recognize different parts of your story and where some of those messages have come from. And is that something that you can then start to work with and say, okay, this is a pattern. This is a habit I'm starting to see. I don't actually allow myself to go, yay, when something fun comes up. I sort of restrict. And are you holding that energy back? And then why? So as you go through your day, become aware of what's happening. And is it a pattern that happens over and over again? And is it a restriction? I mean, there are some times when it's just okay to step back from sounding, but there are some times when it's wanted that you want to engage and step into the world a little bit more fully and with your sound. So what is prohibiting you? What is keeping you back? What is shutting down? And is it a pattern? Is it something that you can work with? If it's in your awareness, that's the first thing. And if it's in your awareness, then you can work with it.
I'm thinking about one of the things that I worked on, and I'm sure lots of the listeners will be able to identify with this. The default for me in the family was I was the lucky person who got to clean the bathroom. Nobody wanted to take that chore. Dusting was easy, vacuuming was easy, but not bathroom. And every time I had to clean the bathroom, when I had to scrub that toilet, I was just like, oh, this just kills me. So as you were describing the things around the house that you could do or what you were aware of, I was aware of this feeling when I went to do the cleaning. So I shifted over to one that toilet is the throne, and I have the privilege of having a throne where there's many countries that don't, and I have this opportunity actually to polish it. But the next part was the music that I play when I'm cleaning the bathroom. And so I put on the music that it comes from musicals, which is I adore, and being able to sing to my heart's content over the shower water and everything else that's happening as I'm scrubbing. And it's a whole fun way for me to do that. And then I actually don't even notice, instead of timing myself, how long is it going to take me this time? It just is, this song is beautiful. I'm in the movement of that. My mind has shifted from the chore into the gifts that I have. And then that's that opportunity for the body to open. And I find the effort shifts. I just wanted to bring that forward for people as you're thinking about in your day, how could you change the way sound could be a part of what lifts you up on some of those chores that might not be your favorite. And that's the same, in our work day too. And some of the chores we just have to do for work, and that's the way it is. But how can we shift that and bring it forward? Thank you, Anne-Marie, for that thought, because I'd forgotten about that, but it's just such a beautiful way to think about, can we change the story? And are those phrases of the past the ones we want to hold on to? Beautiful. Okay. So I would love to see here if we could, now mine is I put on my favorite musical and I'm going to sing, but would you like to lead us through a little bit of some options of what things people could do at home that they might not have thought about?
You mean vocally to get into their voice, to get into their voice. Well, the first thing is our voice, the instrument is our body. So part of it is warming up our whole body. So I often will start out exercises working from the top of the head down to the feet. And so a lot of it is moving the neck, comfortably, shifting to side. I'm just running through a few exercises really quickly. And then, moving into the shoulders, circling with them. And then moving into the waist, and that's moving the arms out from side to side. So you're moving and shifting your midriff. And of course, that's where a lot of the organs sit. So you're waking up your organs, massaging them a little bit. And then you start taking your hips and moving them in big circles, waking up the hips. And when we think of the size of the lungs, they actually start, up at the shoulders, and they go quite a ways down our back. And so when we're working with this middle body, we're actually waking up our lungs as well. And you may find that when you're just sitting, even like this, listening to the podcast, are you breathing shallowly? Are your shoulders rising up and down? Do you feel your breath more in your upper chest? If so, that means there's a very shallow breath that's happening. You don't want your shoulders going up and down. What you want, if you put your hands on your belly, is you want your hands to be going in and out around the belly, around the gut. And that means you are expanding into a full body breath, a belly breath. So to continue with moving through the body and the exercises, you've got the hips. They've been doing some nice big circles and waking up the hips. And then I often invite people to think of themselves as a puppet with a string on top of their head, pulling them up. And they start to go down vertebrae by vertebrae, allowing their head, their shoulders, the back to curve until they're hanging like a rag doll. And just allow the breath to come in and out of the belly and expand and release, just doing some ha sounds, nice exhales. And then when you feel like you really are that rag doll hanging and you're loose, then allowing yourself to come back up vertebrae by vertebrae, and your head and shoulders should be the last things to come up so that you don't hurt your spine. And then just standing and feeling how your body feels. Is it looser now? You've paid attention to it. You've loosened some of the stress and the creaks in the corners that need some movement in them. And then we can start actually working more with the voice. So think of giving yourself a full body wake up. That was just a simple, gentle way that you could wake up your body with, and then you can move into working with breath and voice. So that's starting it out. Did you have any questions on that part so far, or should I continue on?
I was just chuckling because my body just immediately started doing the head circles, and then my shoulders wanted to move, and I was thinking, okay, if anybody's watching the podcast, they're going to see me moving around because my body and to our bodies just want to go there. As soon as you start moving, the body goes, yeah, I want some of that too. And it's just so lovely when you realize that's what it's looking for. It's been frozen maybe in front of a computer, maybe it's been frozen in the car, or you've been in a project. I've got lots of crafters that end up deep into that project and they're locked. And to realize just that full looseness, if you start to sing, what may happen to the body while you're doing those kind of activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So add in whatever stretches feel good for you, whatever else you want to do it until you feel your body a lot looser, a lot more relaxed. And so you've done you're starting your warm-ups anyway to prep for working with your voice.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next step is to starting to work with your voice. And part of it is taking some nice deep breaths. And while you do, put your hands on your belly and allow your belly to expand and then fall back in again and expand with each inhale and then allowing the breath to make long exhales. So breathing in. And really starting to feel the lungs in your back expand, connecting with your breath, because the breath of life, is what every sound will be exhaled out of your body with. Your breath is so important. There's been a lot of work done just even in breath work, integrated breath work pieces. The breath can take us so deeply into our body. So taking time to just take a breath, even in the midst of a busy day, is a wonderful thing. If your body is in stress, there's so much that's happened. You're stuck on your computer. You can't get away. Close your eyes, put your hands over your belly, and just breathe with some nice big exhales to relax the tension that's sitting in the body. So moving on from that, I often go into, when I'm facilitating voice play circles, into some play, and it really is fun to be able to do. So one of them, of course, is just giving your face a massage. There are about 450 or more muscles all within just your face and your fascia. Working in your jaw a lot as well, because we can really grit our teeth through the day, or we can hold a lot of tension in the jaw. So working on that jaw, just some nice massages to wake it up. And then pretending that we're little rubber motorboats. I tend to put a finger on each cheek, put my lips together and blow. And motorboats go fast and slow, so you're going to go up and down with your sound. So getting the lips to flap against each other, you're starting to loosen up and massage with that sonic vibration that you're creating. Another thing is to have water close by. I have my water bottle, so important to sip. And to keep the voice and the throat juicy and relaxed that way. So then I tend to move into a variety of different exercises, but I think something that's more playful for us to do right today is playing with the alphabet. One of the reasons why I do this is because each letter of the alphabet actually starts to open up and work different muscles. So if we're playing with the letter P, okay, what does that sound like? P pa 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 p pa 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 poo pa 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 pow pow pa pa pi pa pow pa pa. How many ways can you play with the letter P? Now, if we're playing with the letter P, pa 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 pa, that gets us at the edge of the lips. So we're working those muscles just at the edges of our lips. If we're playing with R, what are we doing? We're catching all those muscles that are at the back of our jaw, and we're starting to give those a massage. If we're playing with the letter G, ga ga gi ga 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 goo goo ga 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 gi ga. Well, what does that do? It starts to hit us further in the throat. It's got a deeper place that it sits. So again, playing with the vowel sounds, with the consonants, with the whole alphabet, it's a wonderful thing to do. So I think if you have any children around, gather them together and let's play an alphabet game together. Just toss out a letter, play with it and make it as many sounds as you want with it. Then go on to the next letter. R, T, S, M, B, D, P. Go through them all. And that will give you a wonderful warm up just to get all of these muscles going as well. Mm.
It was interesting to feel the energy off of those sounds, because usually you just go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you're worried about trying to linearly get the alphabet together. But as you were saying those sounds, I could feel how the energy was shifting with all of that. Incredible. And it's interesting because you and I were in the same room doing an in-person workshop just on the weekend, and I didn't feel that as much as I felt it just now coming across the internet. So that was really interesting for me. Yeah. And you're nodding your head. Similar?
Yeah, it took me straight to light language. I just heard light language, which is the language I get through often when I'm doing the healing work and channeling. That's the same sound, the same frequencies. It's very interesting.
Interesting. Okay, that's going to be a whole other discussion.
So after you've played with your alphabet, should I say, after you played with your alphabet, then it's and done, a variety of different warm-ups that I can't take you all through today. But I do tend to then move into working with long sounds. So, ha, he, ho, ooh, I. And it works really well with, of course, all of the vowels when you're working with them. So you're just breathing nice long sighs of sound with each of the vowel sounds, just to start, again, warming up the breath and having it expand within you and then sound as it flows out of you as well. I tend to use, when I go even more deeply into toning and chant work, I use an instrument called a Shruti box, and I don't know if it will show up here or not. No, it won't. I have a background on. Sorry about that. But it's a bellows instrument that can be tuned to different notes, and it basically is a drone. And that's all it does. It drones. But what it does is it gives me a backdrop then to start working with sound. Nice long tones. alto, so I have a very deep sound. You might be, with your own voice, picking a higher note, of course. Pick something that's comfortable for you as well. And something to help you find a comfortable note for you to settle in on is another quick exercise, and that is allowing the sound. Whoops. My little shruti box did a tilt.
It wasn't done.
It wasn't done. I wanted to keep playing and singing, but we'll come back to that. So the other exercise is to allow your breath to move through the body from the crown. So think of it as coming in through the top of your head and then sliding down to the base of your body. And just letting it move down through the body. So, and see how it's feeling as you're moving through that sort of central corridor of your body. And this is where within the Indian system is of music, the chakras are aligned through the middle of the body, and each of those points within the body there are energy centers that, of course, are used within bija mantras and when they're chanting to actually activate these energy centers. So when we're sounding and sort of sliding up and down, we're getting that channel open and a little bit more by doing the sounding. And when we allow the sound to sort of settle, see where it feels most comfortable or settles most comfortably in your body. That's where mine is settling. So where is your sound settling in your body? And you can just hum to that sound, and that starts to build a little bit of energy. It's almost like glowing embers of a campfire, and what you're doing is you're sparking them up a little bit. So that energy starts to flow through the body a little bit more as well. So that's just a sort of sitting and seeing where your voice sits within you and where you want to sound from, and starts to percolate the energy and flow through the body. So this leads us on to then the next important exercise, which is working with the bija mantras, which are seed sounds. And how we work with them is starting to place the sound as close as you can to the chakra. So to go quickly through, you have the root chakra at the base of the body, and then moving up into the dantian, or the stomach, the belly button. That's where the second chakra resides. Then moving up into where the stomach is, that's the third chakra, up into the fourth, which is where the heart is. The fifth is the throat chakra. The sixth is the forehead, the wisdom, the seer, the visionary chakra, and the top of the head, which is the crown chakra. So there are a variety of names and ways people call them, but these are consistent energy bodies, energy focal points in the body. And when we start to work on them, those energy centers start to activate our body holistically and to warm it up on many, many different levels. So there's an exercise that I'll take you through to do that. But I just wanted to pause here in case there's any other thoughts that anyone would like to share or add into that. Michelle, Anne?
You've got me like off in a trance. I'm like, how quickly we went from being in information and pulling all this information together into just sitting and being. Just how easily that transition happened. And you can hear it in even your voice too. And I'm sure mine has shifted as well. But you go from that telling kind of opportunity into that settling, sitting, grounding space. And for those people that's a first time experience, you've shifted how the body is then able to function the resonance that it's going to be at, and you've started. So it's beautiful. And anything you want to add there?
No, yeah, very beautiful. And a lot of the sounds are very similar to what we call the healing sounds, what we work with in the Taoism, that resonate with the organs. So it's beautiful to just get it from a different angle. It's wonderful.
Great. Great. So I'm going to dive into a longer series of exercises, and that is to take us through each of the different Bija mantras, the different seed sounds. And I want to talk to the quality of each of the chakras or energy centers first. So if we start with the root chakra, a lot of the qualities there, it actually is connected to the element of the earth, our sense of smell. When we give it an actual note frequency, it's the note of C. The qualities of that root chakra are vitality, courage, confidence, strength, security, and willpower. Our sense of homing. It's really connected to our physical self. I will, I am is a confirmation or an affirmation that we can use with it. And the Bija mantra that we use with it is the word Lam, Lam. So if we are in the note of C, which we are in the Shruti box right here, I'll just demo what we would do with that Bija mantra, and you're welcome to join in. So you can sit with that Bija mantra for quite a long period of time. Some people who are very sensitive and realize which energy centers are depleted will actually go in and work on that specific chakra for a period of time as well. The second chakra, which again is our navel, is our belly button area. This is our sacral chakra. It is connected to our emotional sense. It's I feel. It's the seat of creativity within us, passion, joy, resourcefulness. It removes inhibitions and limitations. And it is actually connected with our reproductive organs. The color associated with it is indigo. And the element connected is water. The note that we use is the note is D. So I've shifted the Shruti box to the note of D, and the actual Bija mantra itself is VAM, V-A-M. So we're going to shift into working just with the second chakra now. So second chakra, Bija mantra, VAM, V-A-M. Moving into the third Bija mantra, the letter is the note E. We're now just around where our stomach is, below the breast, or the middle of the chest. And that is the Bija mantra of Ram, R-A-M. It's connected to the mental self. And some of the qualities are wisdom, clarity, self-esteem, curiosity, awareness. It's considered to be part of our power center. The color that goes with it is violet. The element is fire. And the musical note is E. So we're going to work with the Bija mantra of Ram on the third chakra. So you would do these in your own time, as long, and as for as long as your breath holds out as well. They don't have to be as long tones as I'm holding either. So do what is comfortable for yourself. So the next Bija mantra moves us up into the heart. And the heart Bija mantra, the colors are green and pink, both. It's all about unconditional love. And the qualities are about balance, self-control, harmony, understanding, being open to yourself and to others, and using that loving nature that is natural to you. The element associated with it is air, and the note is F. The Bija mantra is YAM, Y-A-M. Then moving up to the throat chakra. The throat chakra the color is blue, and the aspects of it, the qualities of it, is knowledge, health, decisiveness, truth, loyalty, the most important of all, communication. This chakra, the throat chakra, not only covers our oral sense of being able to speak, but also our hearing oral sense. So listening and speaking and having the discernment to know when to do which of them is also very important. It has that own innate wisdom in it. Should we speak, or should we be listening to this person as they talk to us right now? So discernment around the type of oral sense you're using is also very important within the chakra. It governs the neck and the voice. Its color is blue, and its note is G. And the Bija mantra that's used is HAM, H-A-M. So moving on, we have the next Bija mantra, which moves us up to the third eye. It's also a place where the visionary and the seer energies are, where we imagine, where we dream. It's about how we use our intuitions, what we bring into the world. It helps with our understanding. It's a place where we can be fearless, where we can reach fulfillment. And again, because our intuitions, our understandings, our deep wisdom can come through this chakra. The color with it is associated is indigo. It is also, of course, called the third eye, and its note is A. So moving up to Sham, Sham, is the Bija mantra. I skipped a note. So Sham. So the last, but not the least, definitely, is our crown chakra. And through the crown chakra, of course, that is connected to our spiritual self. It is a place of self-sacrifice, creativity, visionary, and being strong mentally. It's the color associated, of course, is purple. It connects with our spirit, our knowingness. The note that we play for the crown chakra is B, and the actual chant that goes with it, the Bija mantra, is Om, O-M. It's that universal sound, and within the Hindi system of sound, Om was the beginning of creation. In the beginning, there was the sound. In the beginning, there was the word. So in Hindu, it's Om that they use. So the crown chakra, working with the note of B, Om, O-M. And sometimes as you move up through the chakras, you can actually start to feel the placement. And so I felt the placement of Om a lot through my, what we call the face mask, the cavities in our face, which of course the sinuses below the eyes, the sinuses above, all the nasal passage down through the back of the throat. So I could feel that very much vibrating to the upper part of the face as well. So you're really giving yourself a wonderful massage sonically, as well as energizing these wonderful resonant places within your body called the chakras.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anne Marie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about the conversation Anne had at the beginning about that macrocosm to microcosm. So the chakras give us that opportunity to take the energy transference from in to out. So it's a beautiful transitionary piece. With all that you brought to the table there, I'm going to invite people to, if you're listening to this, trying to take notes or something about all these different ideas, to be able to stop, go and play. And with that playing piece, you have this opportunity through this Trilogy podcast to start the transformation of the healing within as we go through this trilogy, you're going to see a transformation by the time we get to the end. So, so much richness sitting there. I'm going to move over to Anne because Anne's going to add to this, which is just so incredible. And we're looking at the initial part of the conversation was about letting go of our past. So being able to vocalize and bring through some of our old stories and move them out and be able to find where we connect and how we fit in our world. And do you want to take us on the next step with the work that you're doing? And I know you wanted to talk about organs and frequency.
Yes, I would love to share a little bit. And as we say, like, how do we shift and how do we change? For me, I think the easiest and most direct way is going into our heart and reconnecting to our soul, our essence. And so I think for today's podcast, let's share a little bit about what sound resonates with the heart, because in the Healing Tao, we have some lovely meditations. We've got the inner smile meditation, but we also have the healing sound meditation, because also each organ resonates beautifully with a specific sound. And I thought maybe as a wrap up of this first podcast, let's go in the heart, because ultimately, when we have balance in the heart, peace, we get heart coherence, and the whole body feels relaxed, and then shift can happen. And so the sound that resonates with the heart, and by the way, the heart works together as a team with the small intestine as well. So by resonating that sound, it works on both. It's one of the sounds that Anne-Marie already mentioned. It's the ha. The ha is a very soothing sound for the heart. And like Anne-Marie said, oftentimes we do it automatically during the day. You go, ah. My dad actually does it constantly. Ah. And it's so funny. But I thought as a little exercise today, let's shake it up a little bit. Instead of staying in this very soothing, very slow state of mind, let's wake up a bit. And I'm gonna invite everybody to stand up and do a little exercise together with me, where we will use the ha sound for the heart as well. This is one of my favorite exercises. So if you're listening without video, I just invite you to stand up, just on your feet, your nice hip width apart, and just roll the shoulders backwards a little bit so your spine is nice and straight. And now just first bring your awareness to the heart. Maybe you want to place the hands on the heart for a moment. Just make that initial connection and smile into the heart, because it's even a frequency without sound, but already very healing and loving. Just feel the heart warming up. And as you breathe deeply, exhale, and now exhale deep into your feet, and start imagining your feet pushing away the soil underneath your feet. So you actually start to push, and your body is so relaxed that it's gonna follow, and it's just gonna start shaking. And you just, like Anne-Marie said before, like a puppet on a string, but you just let your whole body shake. Nice deep breath, so you start to really you feel your organs wiggling. Everything is so relaxed. And we keep that gaze inside, and we keep that gaze onto our heart, and we just feel the heart warming up a bit. And now I invite you to open your mouth and just go ah. And just all the inner tensions coming out. You might start yawning. And you may do that as long as you feel the need. And now just gently ease the motion and just feel inside how your whole body is tingling and all your cells are happy and awake. And place the warm hands back on your heart and smile into your heart and tell your heart, your soul, I love you. And you can say, I love you, Anne, and your name. And this just brings a whole warm feeling of balance and coherence. And just as you come back now, and you just need a couple of minutes daily, it will make a whole difference in how you feel and how you get through your day and how you shift back in that loving space of self-love, which is so important.
Okay. Between the two of you, oh my goodness, it just feels so lovely. I could notice, and there were some muscles that were a little bit tighter that didn't want to quite let go through my feet and my lower legs. So that was a good way for me to feel where that tension is sitting, which I'm not aware of, because while I'm sitting,
Yeah.
you're not standing on the leg. But when I went to jump, I could notice all of a sudden those muscles that were really holding tight. And part of that fire element that you were talking about between heart and small intestine, the other half of that is circulation and triple warmer. That's those lower leg muscles. And so I was realizing how much tension is sitting within there. And so I appreciate coming to that heart center, being able to say, I love myself and feel it. And then realizing, and I need to spend some more time there, give
Yeah.
some more love into that area. It's so beautiful. Do you want to talk a little bit more about some of the, I know that you talked about the heart, but coming into the digestion a little bit and how
Yeah,
that
we
works
were
together.
well, it's all about emotions, isn't it? And often our organs hold so much of the, well, an emotion is something that passes in 90 seconds, basically. And if we were only mastering that and let them go, that would be wonderful. But we are masters of holding on to that memory and like a playback, keep holding on to it. And that's how stagnant energy starts to be stuck in the bodies. And obviously the heart, small intestine, it's a lot to do with love, self-love, compassion, and so on. So when we have an emotional overload, it can affect our digestive system. And it's very important to be aware of that, and that it's not all about what we eat. And of course our food is also very important, but very much is how we get through with our emotions, how can we express them, how are we aware of them, and then to really start letting them go as well. And it's funny you mentioned the digestion. I just mentioned, I think next week our next episode will move into the lung sound. I'll share with you then another sound, and that's going to be the lung with the large intestine. And so when we do all the organs, we can really cleanse up. And I love this exercise on doing it at the end of the day before going to bed, because you can really, like instead of you brush your teeth, you wash your face, but you also cleanse your internal system, which is very important. It also needs maintenance so that we don't stack up and hold on to these emotions, these reactions, this trauma, often not just from ourselves, but now I notice a lot of people I work with, we take on from the collective, because our collective, our outside world is so heavy, so dense with anxiety, worry, fear. And when you are sensitive to all that, it's so important every day to just do a general cleanse. And I like to do that before bed, because then it will also benefit your sleep quality, which is also a very important medicine.
Wow, you just packed a whole bunch into right there. I was just thinking about the patterns we have for bedtime, right? So now some people will be at their computers way too long into the evening, so that blue light on them. Then we have maybe they're going to be watching television and binge watching some show, and then I'm just describing myself, 2-3 episodes longer than they need to be there. And then just going to bed because they're so tired, they were falling asleep while they were watching, and then they just go off to bed. And what you said was so brilliant about, we have this small ritual of brushing the teeth, washing the face. We don't spend any time on what is our bed routine that is really cleansing to get the organs ready, because our most important detoxing organs are for the nighttime.
Yeah.
And if you work shift work, that's a whole other burden on the system. How different to have a whole regime that is about preparing yourself for bed and preparing yourself. And the other piece that you said that was also really interesting was how we have these experiences and we like to hold on to them, and those pocket all over our bodies. And I think I've given it more of a lip service as I've said it. And I realized in our efforts to not forget things, right? To snap photographs of our time in the day, of the people we've been with, to do little video clips. What we're really doing is capturing those emotions, and we're holding on to them in this need to remember it all. And we're bringing that into the body, and then we're holding that so tight. And I hadn't really thought of it in those terms until the way you described it. And we need to be able to let go. We don't want to hold all that stuff in there. A beautiful memory is great, but we need to hold all the emotions of the day within the body.
Yeah, and if I may add to that, it's not even just this life. We've had so many past lives of baggage that we still carry with us. So it's just endless. Yeah.
And I know it's been described as it might be the rope behind you with all the suitcases of things. And how long do you want to carry all that with you for? And then then if we're talking about previous lifetimes, or we're talking about family history that we're bringing with us, how many more how many more ropes might there be? How in your day can you spend some time letting go of those pieces so the burden is not so strong there? That's a lot for people. As we're thinking about, how are we going to have that inner resonance? There's so much with this episode for people to spend some time with, and thinking about how can they transform before listening to the next episode and diving into the next piece as we bring people through these 3 parts. So as you're listening today and you're resonating with the different pieces that came to you, and you think about what could you add to your day, not as a burden, but as a way to release, so that you could start to set up a program that puts you at the limelight for health, you at the limelight for resonance, and being able to shift daily into some routine. So we've got vocalizations you can do, we've got movement-based activities, and that idea, let go of what you don't need. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, I know we need to wrap this piece up. Anne-Marie, is there something you want to add to just finish off for people to resonate with?
Find something that feels fun, that feels playful, to explore and to add to your practice throughout your day. And as Michelle was saying, creating something that is a daily habit is so important. And, allow yourself to find that place of where the glowing embers sort of sit within your body and where you can sit and hum and let yourself be energized at those moments. Be aware of how sound plays on you through the day as well. Do you need to start letting your body go, let the tension go, let the stress go, just by taking a breath? So just becoming actively aware of what your body needs through the day, but also starting to create some new habits and see where that takes you. And all the best with your play and your growing sound awarenesses.
And now, Anne-Marie, can you share, you had 2 places that people could connect with you, and you have recordings. So if they want to sing along with you, that's a possibility that they can bring in. Can you share that information?
I have a YouTube site. It's at Anne-Marie Boudreau, ANN-MARIE BOUDREAU. Then the number is 8570 after that. So they can reach me at my YouTube channel. I have 2 CDs. Both of them are vocal improvisations. The first one is really an exploration of the voice. I was stretching myself and trying out different sounds. I work in the field without words because of my practice as a sound therapist. I'm trying to get people out of their monkey minds and their busy heads and back into a feeling responsive place. So with my first CD, Dreams of Ancient Lands, I encourage you just to play with the sound, explore sound with it if you want. The second one, the CD, New Horizons, is based on Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey, and again is another vocal exploration. So if you feel inspired to sing along, find something that resonates with you, and maybe there'll be a particular song that does, and sing, play, and have fun.
Perfect. And so that's your YouTube channel. And how else can they reach you?
They can reach me on Facebook. Right now I'm still building my new website. So Facebook, Anne-Marie Boudreau, they can reach me there. And
Perfect.
with something that looks like my face a little bit.
Exactly. I was going to say
all the
that.
Anne-Marie Boudreaux that come up.
Perfect. And Anne, anything you want to bring to the end of this conversation?
I think there's been so much shared already. Enjoy, like I said, have fun, do what you enjoy doing, and then you will be looking forward to it, to do it every day. And I think that's most important, just to realize that changing lifestyle doesn't have to be hard, but it can be fun and take you on a whole new journey.
Beautiful. And Anne, how can they reach you?
I have a website that's www.soulestara, like it's written here above my head.com, and where you have a few free exercises. Also, by the way, blessing the water exercises there. And then I have an Instagram that's at soulestara22. So those will be 2 main channels. Also LinkedIn and Smets. But there are so many of them, so like I said, you have to search through the Anne Smets.
And you also have a program where people can come once a month and connect with you and dive into the topic that you're doing. You want to share a little of that?
Yeah, I love it. I was actually prompted by my guides to start it. That was the end of last year. And it's the Inner Light Portal, where I share expertise, healing exercises. And sometimes we have a guest on, like Michelle already have been a guest, which was wonderful. And I'm sure Anne-Marie will be one day. And so my mission is to start helping people to make that shift, that awakening process, that embodied healing, because very often people think that energy healing is something way out there or is too spiritual. But there's only one aspect of the shift. For me, the embodiment starting with the physical is equally important. And so each month we take you on a different layer of that being for healing and awakening. And as we speak, now coming Friday on the 27th is going to be, our session is going to be all about our gut and belly. So I'm looking forward to that. And I will be sharing a lot of insights, both neuroscience, but then also the holistic aspect of it. And we'll do some exercises together. And this one I will be hosting just by myself, because then in the end I will do an energy healing on the gut area.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And
You.
the other exciting thing that you do, which I don't think you're thinking so much in terms of sharing this out, but I'm going to give that shout out, is you're on a ship, or you're on a boat at the
Yeah.
moment, and you've been doing some amazing wellness cruises, and people are returning to your cruise and coming back into your programs and participating with you daily and building habits. Do you want to just share a little bit about that experience? Because it's just so unique and so beautiful that it's possible.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I was approached by a cruise company, German company, 3 years ago, because they wanted to organize concept cruises, wellness cruises. And it's known on often in resorts that people go to a retreat, but I immediately resonated with it because I'm a big water light coat holder as well. So I created a wonderful wellness program for guests who come on board. It's short cruises, it's 4 nights, but we have a full program where we start the morning with Qigong, standing yoga. We do an aromatherapy workshop. I included a face yoga workshop, like Emery was saying, with all the muscles. Some lectures about the healing power of water, which, yeah, you can talk about forever. Um, and then I also offer my signature treatment, which is the Chinet Sang, the deep organ detox massage. And it's lovely to see that now 3 years in a row, people I recognize, they just coming just for that and for the program, and it's becoming more and more, and younger people. So it's, for me, Central Europe, that's hopeful, because we're a bit behind with all the self-care and taking time for it. And it's beautiful. It's an amazing opportunity while being on the water, because just being on the water, have these big panorama windows where you have the river floating, it's already healing by itself. You don't even have to do anything.
It's so beautiful. Just as you're listening and you're thinking about the changes that you can make, we've got the small ones, which are just small daily ones, adding your voice, adding the breath, adding your regime for getting up in the morning, the one for going to bed, something in the middle of the day when you feel you need a little extra something. This is a great way to ignite that opportunity. And then stay tuned as we bring you 2 and 3 and take you even further on this journey. If you did miss the podcast trilogies that I did with Anne-Marie on her own and then with Anne on her own, then please go back to season 5, check them out, so then you can have some more background and juicy bits to bring in. And then please like, comment, share, pass this forward to others who may be able to benefit, and help bring them on this journey of discovery and transformation. Okay, with that, I'm going to close off. So before we can heal a planet, which is where all of us are worried about what can we do to contribute, we have to tune into ourselves. And before we can change the field around us, we have to become coherent within it. You are vibrational, you are influential, your thoughts carry a tone. You heard Anne-Marie talk about that. Your voice carries frequency, and your presence has an impact. And when you consciously participate in your own resonance, you begin to shape the collective field, and then you become the embodied field. This is where we want to head together. When we become the embodied field, we add to the healing resonance of the world. And we all know that's our ultimate goal. Thank you so much, ladies, for such a in-depth, juicy podcast episode. It was absolutely delightful. And I look forward to when we meet again. All right. Be well, everyone. And thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Be Well with Dr. Michelle Greenwell. There are a couple of resources I want to just point out. When you go to the website greenwellcenter.com, you'll have a pop-up window. That pop-up gives you the top 8 easy stress releasers that you can use every day. That's something you can put beside your computer, the bathroom mirror, beside the bedside table. A great resource. Also, my YouTube channel. It is full of playlists with all kinds of different ways that you can activate energy and bring vitality into your day. You can find that when you go to YouTube at Michelle Greenwell. And last, if you're a Linktree person, Linktree, linktr.ee/Greenwell Center. That has all my resources in one spot. Those are for intricate little things that you can't get everywhere. And it's a wonderful way for me to be able to share all the different aspects of the kind of work I do. So thank you for listening. Be sure to drink that tea. And if you want to have the tea blend that was shared in the podcast today, then be sure to check out capebretontea.ca. Have a wonderful day.